Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Championship Leadership Podcast, and I'm excited. I got a return customer here, return guest on the Championship Leadership Podcast, Tony Banta, the client whisperer, and he's kicking off a brand new program for coaches, for consultants, for agency owners, gym owners, you name it, and he can get into more detail on exactly who this would be for, but the legendary client leader 6-week program. And I think this is a great opportunity for all of us leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs that deal with clients and how to help through those systems and processes, which is Tony's expertise. Absolutely. So welcome back to the show. I'm excited to have you back, Tony. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, Nate, it's always great to hang out with you, man. We both love leadership. So it's always fun being able to talk about it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we just, as I had mentioned, you'd been on the show once before, and we released that episode a few weeks ago. We're going to get this episode out here shortly. But COVID, right? This kind of happened since in between, like it wasn't going on when we recorded the episode the first time.
No.
And now we're in the middle of this pandemic and how crazy it is. And I've seen you step up definitely as a leader in creating a lot of value for people inside of Facebook, helping to give some certainty in some uncertain times and being an incredible leader. And now, of course, you're coming out with the legendary client leader program that you have. So maybe, just like give us a little background on that and maybe even, I suppose, a little bit of yourself for those that haven't listened to the first episode. You don't necessarily need to listen to that one to get caught up on what we're going on today. So give us a little insight on you and this new program you got, the legendary client leader.
Yeah. Thanks so much. And thanks for that compliment. I think we all have a responsibility to, step up in in challenging times. And so we've been doing what we can to help people because it's, the whole world's upside down, right? That's what happens when you shut down effectively all of the brick and mortar economy and other sectors that, transportation, hospitality, the list goes on. We've been blessed in that we haven't lost a single client in this. We also focus on client retention. So,
right.
That's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But one of the ways that we did that is that we doubled down and, we gave a bunch of our clients, we gave some clients the, discounts because that was the right thing for them that were some of our monthly retainer clients. They really needed that. And so we were there. We gave some other clients some extra, freebies and as much as we could in a, healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, most of our clients are finding ways to thrive in this, time of uncertainty. But we actually had this planned. We actually had this launch planned for the last 4 months. We've been planning to launch this program. We were actually going to be launching it at the very beginning of April. It was we were going to start promoting it at the end of March, and then the initial 2-week shutdown happened, and I called one of my coaches, one of my business mentors, and I'm like, I don't think I want to launch this right now. Because of course, none of us knew, we didn't even know how long this was going to happen. Right. There were some people that were talking about, 2-year lockdowns and, craziness. So we decided to, regroup a little bit and launch the middle of April. But it is great timing in that, just about every time that I see the news and I'm not going to talk about politics outside of leadership, but, just about every time I watch the news, I'm frustrated as I watch all of this coronavirus stuff because where are all of the leaders? Where's the Winston Churchill? Where's Margaret Thatcher? Where's the list could go on of and I won't make it, I picked the, 2 Brits intentionally so that I don't have to name any, not in today's political climate, but that's part of the problem is that where are the people that are stepping up to lead, they're certainly not on CNN or NBC or ABC or anywhere else for that matter. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the reasons as the shutdown was happening, I was on Facebook Live every day doing a live, and I promised all of the people that were watching, I'm only going to talk about good news. we're only going to talk about what's good. If it's not good, we're not going to share it here,
Yeah.
because everywhere else you can go to find out how the world's going to end.
There's no shortage
but
of that. Yeah.
There's no shortage, but leadership is, here's the next opportunity to win. Let's go get it. No matter how bad things are, there's always an opportunity to win. And so that's exactly what what we're trying to extend to as many client leaders as we can with this, with this program, is that anybody can teach great. Anybody can teach great tactics. I say anybody. You need to be an expert, right? You need to be knowledgeable in something. But that's only the baseline to be able to teach tactics. It takes someone who is studying and who is committed to the art of leadership to be able to actually lead people over the hurdles that they're going to have in whatever they're doing. Whether you're helping someone run Facebook ads, or you're helping them launch podcasts, or you're helping them to run a marathon, or lose that weight. Lose that dad weight that is so easy to get, especially when we're all locked down. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, because humans always run into the same hurdles. That once they start doing something meaningful, they run into those tricks that their minds play, and it takes leaders to hold them accountable and to help them get the job done.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned this has kind of been in the works for 4 months. What prompted it? Like, I know you work with a lot of coaches and consultants and help them inside of the systems and processes of the business, and obviously, like you said, you've seen a lot of the data, and so there was obviously a prompting for you to be like, man, like this is needed, right? So maybe talk a little bit more about that and what you were seeing and why you've created this and how this will help these leaders, these business owners, these coaches, these consultants who are leading others to be more effective and impact in a greater way.
Yeah, 100%. So much of our background is in the systems, is in helping to build the systems to scale, and that we still do that. We have a phenomenal program, and thankfully we have team members that are helping me do that, which means I get to go do fun things like this. And we work with we work with 6 and 7-figure client business leaders. So, coaches, consultants, like you said, agency owners, the whole range are people that we've worked with. We've even worked with some, doctors, because a patient is just a client with, HIPAA protection. We love that work, and we get to help them dial in exactly what their clients need so that they can get great results inside of their program. That's why we call it the client success system. But as part of that, what we found that we were having the same conversations with, all of our clients. And in fact, it was something that even prevented some of the systems work, because if you don't know if something is working or not, and it's hard to know if something's working, if you have clients who are challenging your expertise, if you have clients who aren't actually doing the work, if you have clients that are asking for refunds, if you have these kinds of things, it's tough to know, is this really working or not? Are those just outliers in the data? Or are those the data? Are those examples? And so it was in that work that we saw that this was a problem. We started going out to groups of client business leaders that were smaller than our ideal clients, because a lot of people aren't looking to scale. They're looking for their 10th client. Like they're looking for their they're just starting, or or they've been doing it on the side and they've just recently gone full time. And we started talking to some people, and what we found is there were all of these client business leaders who were starting to flirt with burnout, and they weren't even profitable. They weren't even they weren't even making a ton of money, but they were flirting with they were strung out. They weren't enjoying working with clients. They were enjoying working with some clients, but then there were the other clients that were driving them crazy. And that we saw the same pattern in so many cases. And it doesn't take that many, we'll label them resisting clients, clients that are resisting the change, that are resisting doing the work. yeah, that's one of the rules. We have a rule with all of our clients. You're not allowed to call your clients bad names. It's not okay.
Yeah. Right.
You're allowed to say how it makes you feel, but you're
That's a
not
good
allowed
rule.
to call your clients bad names.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing in a client business? That's like our clients are our, revenue. If we
Yeah. They're
like, if
your
we start,
lifeline. Yeah.
yeah, if we start to lose respect for that, we're lost.
Yeah.
And in fact, we saw that starting to happen, right? People would say, I don't want to sign, one more client because I know there's a great chance that they're going to, that they're going to drive me crazy. So we actually know from the numbers, if the numbers start to hit 20 to, 25, definitely at 30% of clients, if they're resisting clients, that begins to take a toll. If somebody, it's a factor of time and that percentage. But if somebody's gone a few months and they have 25 to 30% of their clients that are resisting,
Yeah.
they are almost certainly questioning how much longer they can do this,
Yeah.
and whether they want to keep going. And those are really small numbers. That's 3 out of 10.
Right. Right.
So like in a group of
10
clients, that if 3 are misbehaving, and the chance that 3 humans are going to be misbehaving in a group of 10 is huge, right?
Pretty good, right? Yeah.
So the problem isn't the client. The problem is, what do we do with the client? The problem is, how do we lead the client through their resistance to the other side? How do we help the client to make an empowered decision as to whether they want to play ball by the rules or not? And how do we set the boundaries so that we don't let our minds be weighed down by by them taking time to make a decision as to whether they really want the change that they swore they wanted on that sales call, or that they swore that they wanted in that first coaching call, or when they got started running that agency campaign.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, how important is that? I owned a CrossFit gym for a while, and I saw it in myself, to be honest. And I've seen it in a lot of gym owners, right? They love the fitness business. They love working out. And before you know it, they're not even working out anymore. And they're just like in the gym all the time. And they haven't even made it, right? They haven't even really almost started paying themselves yet. And so I could see how a system like this, a program like this, to help them to lead their clients would have made a huge difference for me.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I wish I would have known you back then.
Thanks,
I wish
Tom.
we'd go back in time.
Yeah.
Maybe we could send it back in time in a little time capsule to Nate of several years ago.
Yeah.
But
Where
it is,
you, bro? What's up?
We were working gathering the data so that we could release this. What could I say?
Yeah.
But that is exactly our mission in this is, we don't want any leader to be afraid of what a client is going to say. We don't want any leader to wonder whether they're going to know how they need to show up to lead their client to success. And we don't want any leader to feel like a fraction of themselves, to forget their genius, to forget their leadership, status, just because they might not be getting because they're not getting the outward, respect that they deserve. Because of course, you and I both know respect is earned, right?
Yeah.
So, we have to earn respect by the way we show up.
Yep.
And there's a formula, and, we figured it out. So we're going to share it with as many people as we can.
Well, so yeah, what's the drive for you to create this program and to go out and help these people? I mean, because you don't need to, right? You can keep serving the clients that you have and keep, doing what you're doing. What's the drive? What drives you as a leader to do this and to want to go out and help more people?
It isn't all that different from what I was saying about the news, in that I see that we could take this from a biblical, spiritual, path, but we could also just take this from a lived experience, kind of path. Anyone living in the world knows that, we are living in a broken world. That, there are hurting people, and just like the expression goes, hurt people hurt people. And I believe the best way to curb that, we've been talking a lot around the pandemic, around flattening the curve.
Yeah.
of the, of the growth of the pandemic, of the, of the medical resources needed, of the, deaths. Well, the best way to flatten the curve of people who are in really rough places, people who are, who are committing suicide, people who are just living in low grade misery for the, months or years at a time. The best way to reduce that percentage is for there to be more leaders in communities, in industries, on teams. And leader doesn't necessarily mean that they have a title, right? You and I talked about that last time.
Yeah.
The, leader just means that you're showing up with a vision of how the world, how your team, how today can be better, and with the courage of sharing that and, enrolling people in that shared vision. And if we have more people like that, if we had more people like that in newsrooms right now, I think we would get more honesty that, that was shared, over the, over the airwaves.
Yeah.
As opposed to sensationalism designed to, make us all anxious and, glued to the TV.
Right.
And so that's the, this is the, this is the name of the game. And so the best way that I know how is to, inspire more, more empowered people to be willing to take that leadership role.
And so what is the vision for you, specifically inside of Legendary Client Leader? Like what kind of an impact do you want to make?
We'd love to see the, a couple thousand people a year that, that we're able to, help through this program. That would be an incredible, gift for us. We've actually, it's not just the course, we're calling it a masterclass, and it's about 6 weeks or so. For the first group that's going through, we're actually going to be teaching it live, and then we'll see where it goes. We might teach one more round live. We might just, take those recordings, but we also have a support group for people as they're running through that, and a monthly, a monthly membership support group that are going to have incredibly reasonable prices. On the client side, we want to position that as, if you've saved one client relationship, if you've retained one extra client in the course of a year, then the price of, staying in our group should more than, 10 times pay for itself. Yeah. And the goal in that is that, that we want a group of people that are able to lead each other, that are able to, share those wins, that are able to, share those, challenging stories, and to be fearless, to try new things, and to, grow their own business, because they know that, they have a whole army that, backing them. So that they're not alone. And so when they're really stumped by, what to do in a situation, they have their, they have their crew, they have their people to, be able to come back to. So, that would mean the world to me, to be able to, see that kind of a, movement. And I'm sure we'll get there. Who knows how long it'll take us, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Absolutely. And when is the official start date for the program?
I think it's actually going to be when this episode drops, depending on the schedule we're on. We're going to be launching Wednesday. It's going to be going live Wednesday, April 15th. The initial cart will close. The initial group will close that on Sunday the 19th at midnight, and then we'll reopen that at some point in time. So, anybody, if you join the wait list, that'll be there. We're happy to, we will certainly let you know,
and then
the next time.
The actual program itself will start shortly after Sunday.
It's going to start the next week. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So
Gotcha.
It's going to start actually on the very next Wednesday.
Cool. And, if you listen to this episode years from now, I'm sure you've already heard of this program, because that's how legendary it will become. Obviously, thousands and thousands of people impacted. Hopefully, right?
That's right.
What is, like, could you give us just a little more in depth about, like, during these times right now, the pandemic that's going on, what are some ways that you have stepped up? You mentioned like Winston Churchill, right? Yeah. I was just listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and they were talking about certain leaders are kind of built for times like these. And they mentioned Winston Churchill. They're like, evidently, it's been said that if there was no World War II, might have been running like a grocery store or something, right? Like he was kind of built for that time. And I'm sure that's not really true, but like he was built for that time, and he really shined and stepped up and showed who he was as a leader during a very uncertain time and in a very crazy time for many people and for his country. So, what are some ways that you are stepping up a little bit differently as a leader inside of your space and for your clients?
I think that, we are, we're always asking that question of what do people need? We as a team, that's actually one of the first agenda items that we have in our weekly, team meeting is, our group of, clients, what do they need? And we usually ground that in the data so that, we're looking at the data of, what they need so that we can make, data-driven decisions and step out of some of the emotions. Beyond the business side though, we're trying to order food in more. We're trying to stay, healthy. I've heard people joke they're, gaining the COVID-19 during the quarantine. And so far I'm at the COVID-5. So,
okay.
So we also just ordered a Peloton so that my wife could start to, because of course we can't go to the gym, right? We can't, all of our regular ways to get stuff done. And it's actually snowing outside today in Pennsylvania, which has never happened in the beginning of April, as long as I can remember, at least. I'm sure that it has. I just can't remember. But so we're also not going to be jogging outside right now. But we're looking at, how do we get food to go? How do we go? And when I'm there, I have to stay 6 feet apart, right? So, I have to stay 6 feet apart, but when I'm at the grocery store and, when I'm at the local restaurants grabbing food, I just try and have a human connection with the people that are there, and say, hey, thank you so much for, being willing to, work so that my family can have, groceries. I really appreciate that. And ask them a question, what are they worried about? How are they doing? And is that making a difference? Well, I'm not impacting thousands of people with that, but with the 5 people that I might see, like in any day of, running running my errands and, doing those things, if I can make just a little bit of a difference in those people, then that's, that is at least a little chunk of a better day for them. That's a chunk of whoever they get to, talk to, and the ripple effect that has. And the truth is, it's really selfish. I'm really not doing it. I hope that I'm helping them by, by spending a little bit more time with them and, having a human connection, which is rarer and rarer today. But I'm really doing it for me. I'm really doing it because I don't want to be lonely, in these times. I want to make sure that, I'm having as many human connections. It's why I'm so, so grateful that, we get to do this, Nate, and we've been, we've been on, a bunch of podcasts, coming up to the launch, and we've been spending some time with, friends and clients on Zoom, because when we spend time, I was on a call with a mutual friend of ours, Zach. And, I was talking about how, being in the military uses solitary confinement and as a tool, that because it, of course, or excuse me, not the military, prisons. You can see, there was a Freudian slip. You can see how I think about both of those things inside of my own mind. But I'm a short guy, Nate. I don't think that I'm built for either the military or prisons personally. But it makes me that much more grateful. But anyway, I was talking to Zach about prisons. And, Zach says to me, oh yeah, I was put in solitary for a couple months. And I'm like, okay, well, you have some real world experience in this. But the solitary will make you crazy. And so we've also checked in with some of our neighbors. Some of our neighbors are a little bit older. So like we've checked in, do they need any, groceries? Do they need anything? And it's all of those little things that we can do that we can all do. Like it doesn't, we don't need anyone's permission. We can just do it today.
And if everybody does that, right? If everyone did that, it would, the impact would be huge, even though we're all just impacting a few at a time. and hopefully they take that. And because of that, now they go and do that same thing, pass it on to someone else as well. So I love it. I appreciate you taking some time here today to be here. What can you, how can we find out if the listeners want to take part inside of the Legendary Client Leader Program, or want to find out more about you and what you got going on? Obviously, get your podcast as well.
Yeah.
Give us some more info on all of those details, and of course, we're gonna get this all linked in as well.
Yeah, for sure. Our podcast is the Client Whisperer Show. You can check us out at clientwhisperer.show. And we'll include a link for Legendary Client Leaders in the show notes. We'll have a link tag so that we know that you came from Nate, so we can treat you extra well inside of the program, because any friend of Nate Bailey's is a good friend of mine.
That's right. You guys are welcome. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you coming on today and taking some more time to join us. And I'm looking forward to digging into your program and continuing to watch you as a leader continue to impact and create maximum value for others in this world. So I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks so much, Nate. You too, man. You are an inspiration with the show and with everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it, man.